Today, the crucial elections for Rajasthan were held, where people of the state voted for 199 seats. The voter turnout was 69% at 5 p.m. and now the fate of candidates has been locked in the EVM machines. The big question, can the Congress defeat anti-incumbency, as Ashok Gehlot keeps saying they will, or will the revolving door tradition of Rajasthan continue? We're going to discuss this first. A look at this report.
Quick temple runs before they get their fingers inked, a tradition unique to Rajasthan. The stars of the desert state's high-voltage campaign were among the lakhs of people who cast their votes today. The Congress's welfare man is fighting one of his toughest battles to buck anti-incumbency and return to power. In a last-minute effort to balance the caste arithmetic, Gehlot's bid to show his party's united face with a rare image with rival and Gujar leader Sachin Pilot. The 72-year-old congressman is confident that his Mehengai Rahat outreach will drive the Congress to a historic victory.
ऐसा माहौल बन गया राजस्थान के अंदर जी अंडर करंट चल रहा है हम लोग जीतेंगे चुनाव कोई इनफैक्टिंग नहीं जी सब मिलकर चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं हम लोग जी और उम्मीद करते हैं कि हम लोग कामयाब होंगे बहुत एक के बाद एक अच्छे कानून बने थे महंगाई राशि में गारंटी दी गई हमारी स्कीमें शानदार राजस्थान के अंदर है हमारी गवर्नेंस शानदार है नहीं कोई खिंचता नहीं सब हाईकमान तय करता है कि कोई चिंता नहीं ठीक
The BJP meanwhile went full throttle this election, with the Prime Minister leading the party's carpet bomb campaign. Hitting the campaign road much later, Vasundhara conducted the maximum number of Jan Sabhas, without the BJP projecting a Chief Minister face. The big question, can the Desert Queen return as Chief Minister for the third time?
आज every youngster ने ये तय कर लिया है कि मोदी जी ने जो एक सपना एक विजन सबके सामने रखने का काम किया है people have fed into that vision
because झालावाड़ से एक आपका 11वां चुनाव है मैम वो अपने आप में अमेजिंग है
मेरे को याद मत दिलाइए प्लीज 11वां चुनाव
मैम आपने सबसे ज्यादा सभाएं करी है इस बार 50 सभाएं करी है इन राजस्थान
पर मैं वो भी समझती हूँ कि थोड़ा कमी है बिकॉज वो हम लोगों को थोड़ा मे बी थोड़ा जल्दी शुरू हो जाता
In a home turf in Jhalawar, she voted with her family, with her grandson voting for the first time.
For both Ashok Gehlot and Vasundhara Raje, this election is in many ways a turning point in their political careers. At 72, Ashok Gehlot has run an all-stops pulled-out campaign, hoping for a fourth chance at the Chief Minister's chair. Vasundhara Raje is also fighting for political space, not just in Rajasthan, but also within her own party. And will the caste arithmetic fit into these individual political jigsaws is probably what will be the deciding factor.
But elections in the heartland states are also about the lighter moments, with first-time voters, women and even a bride lining up to cast their ballot.
I want to take my right of democracy.
I feel very happy that I got this opportunity to vote. I'm very grateful.
राजस्थान के विकास के मुद्दे पे हमने काम किया है वोट उसी को दिया है
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में तो नेताओं मन छोड़ो वो तो शक्ल देखने को तैयार नहीं है
जबकि जाने वाली सरकार ये जानते हुए कि 4.5 साल तक हम डिलीवर नहीं कर पाए जनता आक्रोशित है और हमारी धरती खिसक गई है तब आनंद फानन में आधार विहीन बिना तैयारी के घोषणाएं करें वो फ्री दीजिए
But it's also about the jives, given the neck-to-neck fight. The fate of more than 1,800 candidates has been sealed in these EVMs today. It has been a high-stakes campaign and one of the most keenly contested elections this year. Remains to be seen whether the Congress is able to buck the revolving door of politics in Rajasthan or whether the BJP makes a comeback and maintains tradition. One thing that is clear is that the Rajasthan mandate is going to be one of the most crucial semi-finals to 2024. With Harsha Kumari Singh, camera person Ashok Mahale, Arun Harsha, Mukul Parihar, Vedant for NDTV.
Well, let's now talk about the Rajasthan elections, and we're joined by Avinash Kala, senior journalist, Swarnim Chaturvedi, spokesperson Congress, and Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson BJP. My colleague Harsha joins us to take us through this discussion. And Harsha, I want to start with you because ever since I joined NDTV in Rajasthan, there's been this jugalbandi between Ashok Gehlot and Vasundhara Raje, and this election is now a turning point and possibly a break from that, depending which way it goes.
Yes, absolutely, Gargi. And, like we were saying in that story, this election is going to really decide the fate of Ashok Gehlot and Vasundhara Raje also to some extent. More Ashok Gehlot because remember, he's 72. If they don't win this election, he's going to be 77 by the time the next election comes around. So what will be his political space? And in the BJP also, the BJP clearly is pushing for a new rung of leadership. They're pushing to create new leaders. They've sent in 7 MPs to fight this election. So there will be space and the Lok Sabha also in terms of leadership. So really this election is not just about the political narrative, so to speak, but it's also about individual personalities and their faces, Gargi.
That's right. And Shehzad Poonawala, while a lot of focus was on, this Congress infighting and the rivalry between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, but within the BJP as well, this election in Rajasthan has seen a lot of, inter-party rivalry there.
Gargi, in fact, I was in Rajasthan for the better part of the last 2 months. And in fact, in Rajasthan too, I was in charge of Kota Sambhag, where we have districts like Bundi, Jhalawar, Bara, and so on. And therefore, for this assessment or statement to be made is entirely untrue. In fact, the last one of the last rallies that Prime Minister had in Bara, in Anta, you saw Vasundhara Raje ji there. She did more than 50 rallies and she was out there giving her best shot. But in fact, the entire infighting was to the extent that Rahul Gandhi did not come to Rajasthan for a very long period of time. He went to Telangana, even though the elections there are much later, right in October, but he came to Rajasthan only on 16th. We heard of the fight that took place during the ticket distribution. Gehlot, despite being the sitting chief minister, wasn't declared as the chief minister. And this I'm saying because in Madhya Pradesh, where they don't have a chief minister, there they've declared Kamal Nath as the face. We've seen the kind of fights over the last 1.5 years Sachin Pilot and Mr. Gehlot have had. Just because they hold hands together now doesn't mean that people are going to forget about that. People like Ashok Chandna, people like Bharat Singh and many other leaders of the Congress have been revolting against Ashok Gehlot and against other leaders, and therefore I think there was a loot Sarkar, which was obviously the corruption that took place under their watch. There was a Jhoot Sarkar that gave false promises, including the Kisan Karz Maafi, 19,500 farmers lost their lands. But it was also a Foot Wali Sarkar, and therefore that foot was evident right till the last day. I'll just show you one interesting picture, Gargi, and Avinash would definitely know, Harsha would also know, because this was the picture that was published in the yesterday's paper in their ad. Now in this ad, you have Rahul Gandhi, who holds no position in AICC at the moment, no Khadge ji, and no Sachin Pilot. So, this is the kind of level of infighting that was there in the Congress party, where they
all
did
right,
not even
I'll ask
want to,
Swarnim Chaturvedi to respond to that. So, Shehzad Poonawala, I do think if the BJP is going to win this election, that's when a lot of this rivalry is going to really come out in the open. We'll wait and see what trump cards Vasundhara Raje has then. But Swarnim Chaturvedi, your response to that and your assessment of how it has gone today.
Gargi, Congress party is going to win election very comfortably. And even Mr. Shehzad Poonawala knows their leaders were struggling to make a space within their party. They forgot to connect with the people. Rajasthan has voted for the welfare schemes that we have implemented. We have implemented not the promises, false promises that PM has made with the Rajasthan. And people have voted for rupees 500 cylinder for, we are providing the cylinder for rupees 500. They voted for the free electricity. They voted for Chiranjeevi Bima Yojana. So when and what BJP did, they were just spreading lies. They were spreading misconceptions. Even now, what I heard is just a misconception. We fought election unitedly, whereas BJP leaders, they have to shift their seats. They have to change their constituencies. Even the senior leaders. So there was no allegation. Even I just came to know that BJP has accused government servants, government employees of reducing the speed of voting. So I don't know who will they blame after 3rd December, but they are going to lose very miserably.
Now it boils down to 3rd December, but yes, Harsha, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we can endlessly debate the self-goals that parties do before each election. It's very natural. But my question is really to Avinash. Avinash, what do you think is the political narrative? What do you think has been the political narrative in this election? Do you somewhere think that Ashok Gehlot's emphasis on this social welfare plank has actually forced everyone to talk about social welfare and empowerment of youth, women, and the poor and underprivileged?
Harsha, you pointed it out rightly. The election is a litmus test for the welfare scheme, and credit needs to be given to Mr. Ashok Gehlot, because 6 months back we were all talking about the margin where the Congress would be reduced. There were times when people said the Congress would be packed in a Fortuner, but they have fought hard. And right now, as we are talking, there is no clear indication of what's the voting percentage. And Harsha, if it doesn't touch 74, then the Congress party has a reason to smile, because if the incumbent government feels safe when the voting percentage is lesser than the previous year, and to that extent there is still 5% to go, so Ashok Gehlot and the Congress should be happy at this particular moment, and all credit to him. It's a strange election where the Congress was setting the narrative and the BJP was responding. That is something that you don't see usually. But as Shehzad pointed out, that's a very valid point, that the last moment hum saath saath hai coming together of Mr. Pilot and Mr. Gehlot was a little too late in the day, whereas the BJP till the last day worked to make sure that it gets its herd together. There was a big speculation about Vasundhara Raje and Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah coming together or not, and in that rally at Anta, all things were put to rest and they both gave an address from the same platform. The body language, though, of Ms. Raje looks very confident now. So it remains to be seen what is the final voting percent number, because exit polls and things will come on the 30th and we'll see the final result on the 3rd. But voting percentage to indicate, because whenever the voting percentage has gone down by 1% or 2%, it has helped the Congress in the state in the last 25 years.
All right, I think Shehzad wants to make a point here.
Yeah.
Look, I don't claim to know or understand Rajasthan as well as Harsha and Avinash do. They've lived there and they know Rajasthan much better. But I have a little bit of a knack in understanding the political pulse, which they might not have. And let me tell you that this time the Rivaj is going to change to the extent that it is not an election of Badlav, it is an election of Badla. I have sensed a very strong undercurrent of taking Badla amongst the people, and let me give you 3 reasons why. One, the karma of Ashok Gehlot is bad. What do I mean by karma? Don't go by those terminologies. Karma meaning K for Kisan, A for Apradhikaran and the kind of situation we saw in the entire Rajasthan about law and order. R for Rozgar, it was one of the highest Berozgari levels. Berozgari Bhatta had not been given, and the youth, instead of being given the jobs, were given paper leak after paper leak, which was linked to the Congress party. And M for Mal Kamao, it was unprecedented corruption, and the corruption was not spoken of just by the BJP. We know the kind of allegations that were made against this government by people like Bharat Singh against Pramod Jain Bhai on the mining scam. People like Indraj Gujar, people like Sachin Pilot went on a Padyatra against the paper leak. So there was a lot of corruption, and the everyday discovery of gold and money was also happening. So I think the karma of Ashok Gehlot was so bad that this lollipop of so-called social welfare, and what social welfare? M for Mehengai. Imagine the level of Mehengai, that highest inflation, highest VAT on petrol, diesel,
all
highest
right, well, let me give Swarnim an opportunity to respond to that. So, but a lot of,
I
key
think
factors.
People are very smart
but
about
still,
all these
Shehzad,
things.
the fact that, we're still talking how it's so neck and neck, and we, talking about does Congress have an edge, even that is a big giveaway for this election. But yes, Swarnim, your response to that.
Can I just have one line on
let's
this?
face it, the welfare scheme announced, as Harsha was saying, and as Avinash was also saying,
have one line on this?
Led to a lot of schemes being announced in Madhya Pradesh as well, and a lot of, promises being made in Rajasthan. But yes, Swarnim, go ahead.
Yes, welfare schemes for the people. We implemented these schemes just to give rahat from the Mehengai of Modi ji. This was the narrative, and people understand clearly that who gave Mehengai and who gave rahat. They all know. So people voted for us, and we all know that there was no anti-incumbency against our government. That is why people were voted. I think whenever Rajasthan voted in the higher percentage, but the government changes. But right now, what I know, what I have been informed that there is only 68.24% voting. So people
all right, so Swarnim, very happy with that number there, but I want to again talk to Harsha and Avinash about this issue of the rebels. Harsha, that's going to also play a key role on 3rd of December when that counting takes place, and we just know how many of these so-called rebel candidates have won from both sides. I mean, we do know that there are some from the Congress and there are those from the BJP.
Yes, absolutely. Because remember, Ashok Gehlot ran the government with the support of 12 rebels, Congress rebels who became independents and then came back and supported his government. But you know what? I just want to tell Swarnim that, you know, the latest that we are hearing from the Election Commission, that data was till 5 p.m. and we are told that it could actually cross 74, perhaps even reach 75. But yes, definitely, you know, the rebels, smaller parties will cut into votes. There are 24 rebels from the Congress and about 18 or so from the BJP. So Avinash, what do you think the rebels will do? Do you think they can make or change this election? Or with this kind of voting, it's already, you know, it's already actually... the picture,
or at least help in deciding the Chief Minister. Yes, go ahead.
I'll go with what Gargi said. They might help in deciding who's going to be.
Gargi, don't be in a hurry for that.
No. I think the rebel, whatever be the mandate that will come out on the 3rd, it will be a clear mandate. But the rebels would be in a position to add weight to their own leader. That is going to be the scene. It was the case last time when there were these 12 to 13 independents who supported Mr. Gehlot and he became the Chief Minister. Similarly, we are going to see a same scenario playing out, because remember, 10 to 15% of votes do go to independent and the smaller parties. Even in a wave like 163, we had 16 independents and small party leaders. So they are going to be very, very decisive. And the BJP has a lot many number of these guys. And for a strange reason, you have seen rebels standing from the Congress. But because the BJP was not without any CM face, there was nobody who could take a lead and quell the rebellion down. They had Mr. Kailash Chaudhary, who was the in charge of the disciplinary committee, but he was very, very inefficient in making the rebels come back to the fold. And one more thing, many rebels I spoke to, they said that the party has set a precedent. In the first 41 list, there were close to 18 or 19 people who had fought against the party and came 3rd, and they were given a symbol. So they say that we too will try our chance this time around. So what if we are not getting a ticket this time, we might get it the next time. So that was one very strong reason for the rebels to stay in the fold.
All right, we're wrapping it up now, but Shehzad, yes, you want to make a point here?
My only limited disagreement with Avinash and Harsha is this, that the undercurrent amongst women, because of the massive insecurity they felt over the last 5 years, and also the vote bank politics to the extent that PFI was allowed to remove a march. You've also seen how there were riots in a peaceful state like Rajasthan. There was open appeasement that was done. That sentiment was so pervasive that all of these calculations are going to go out of the box. And even the so-called social welfare, Rajasthan people paid highest electricity prices and highest petrol prices for 5 years. You think they're going to forget it over one cylinder on which Gehlot ji is giving 100 rupees and the centre is giving 300?
All right, I guess so this will only know on the 3rd of December when those EVMs are open. I'll have to wrap it here. Thank you so much all for joining us on this program and on a day that the key state of Rajasthan went to the polls.